The secret to my success and my top productivity tip is good sleep hygiene. And that is screens off 2 hours before you go to bed, going to bed at 10:30, 8 hours sleep. That's it. Everything else pales into insignificance. All the other productivity things don't really matter. That's just like rearranging. However, I stayed up late last night playing Cyberpunk 2077, so I completely... Oh boy, we're really trying something this time. This is now on an A1 sheet, and this is, I'm going to mispronounce this, Metamorphosis, can't pronounce that word. It's about 22,000 words long, taking an average of 6 characters per word. That's about 130 pen lifts. Now I'm a little apprehensive about this because it's going to keep going until about 2 o'clock in the morning, because just here, there's like a dip in the table ever so slightly. So in past plots, sometimes this has gone a bit light, and over here, the table lifts up just a little bit, so we might get trails. Hopefully, I've set this pen to the right height, so it'll all be okay. My other sort of worry, but not really, is whether this ink here in the inkwell will last. I'm pretty sure one of these TWSBI pens has enough ink. And the other fun thing we're doing is we've got the pen upright. The reason for that is, this is my everyday carry fountain pen, and normally when we write, we just hold the pen like this. But a trick you can do with fountain pens, if I needed to write really small up here, so I wanted to do the second or something like that, so I wanted sneaky, thin writing, I flip the pen round upside down. You're not supposed to write with it all the time, but it's something you can do. So instead of thick lines, you get nice thin ones. So what the pen plotter's doing is I'm doing the pen vertically, which is kind of halfway between the two. So I'm trying to get a finer line for that writing. That's what's going on there. Anyway, back to the pen plotter. And the big test is, can this pen do it? Because it's going to start picking up fibres in the paper. It might run out of ink. The table might not be flat enough. All sorts of things can go horribly wrong. This is a very long plot, but I think it's going to be worth it. After this, I think it might be possible to do A0 plots, and you can get about 45,000 words on one of those, which is a reasonable size book. So it might be fun to try that. And it's kind of funny to think that a book you buy in a... Actually, I should go buy the book, shouldn't I, from Waterstones? Anyway, that the book you get fits on a whole sheet of paper. Okay, I was suspecting... Has it worked? I was suspecting maybe bits would be missing there. Oh, it's so good. And down here, the last 2 lines of the bottom line was where I was worried. Oh my goodness, look at that. 22,000+ words. Let me go pop the light on a second. Right. Let's see how much ink is left. Okay, so we're still here. It started, you can see that clear line there. So that's how much ink we used. So, I think on an A0 sheet you would have to refill, but I got plans for that anyway. An A0 sheet would do 1/2 and then have the other half sticking out here, then move it all up and get it aligned. Tricky, but doable, and then switch the ink out at that point. Wow. That's a whole book. There's a couple of spots here that I saw on the SVG. So this gap here, because it's got the 3 dots, they've done 3 dots like that. So I need to clean that up. And there's a couple of quotation marks that I spotted where, like over here, the quotation mark is supposed to be at the end of there. So I need to go clean those up. So I guess this is an artist proof? Don't know. Anyway, I'm going to hang it in the studio a little bit and then just admire it. One, two, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I need more light. I said I wasn't going to spend any more time on Kitty today, and yet I did. Kitty's supposed to save me time by scribbling away in the background, working out things to post or tweet. And up until now, I've been manually triggering that to happen, and it's supposed to be happening automatically in the background. So I've just done that this morning, and there are a whole bunch of bugs to sort it out. Anyway, that's all by the by. That was this morning. I'm working on Monster now for the next few hours. Monster is a digital NFT project, probably for FX Hash. I'll show you some of them now. It's mainly just a background type of thing, and I've been working out what to do with it, and I've been focusing on the composition now. So let me just switch to this cam and I'll show you. So the idea is we have this thing here, and at the moment it's just putting stuff in. So I'm applying a few rules, and one of them is to have a focus point. So I'll randomly place one in here, say it places it here, and then it's going to place a secondary one. So if this distance is X and Y, is going to post another smaller one here at Y, the same as that. So I've got two focus points, and then shift it around by about 30 degrees somewhere. So this will end up somewhere else. Anyway, the idea is to have two focus points. So that's composition rule 1. The second one is to actually have blocks of composition. I want to have stuff happening in about 1/3 of things. I can still see the background. So if we did something like section off this area here and say this area here and here, now I've got a composition here and I want to operate within those things. The other thing that I want to do is have the eye flow through the composition, so you're kind of reading the composition. So if I had some Bezier curves that kind of did this thing, oh, it's not a very good pen, but that's fine, and then another one that sort of did this, let's say, then I can operate within just these spaces of composition. So I could have over here everything going towards this point, but only when it's inside this here. So as we go across here, we'll point towards the smaller one, and we'll point to that one over there a bit, and then the smaller one, and then this one will do the same thing. So we can have these other designs in this composition that are all going towards the focus points. We won't necessarily show the focus points, we're just using that as a compositional tool. And then the final thing I'm going to try to do this afternoon is then if we take this level point here and this one here, and then we have a path that goes through here. So again, we've got these focal points, and then I'm going to have this composition that leads the eye from one side to the other. And I think that should do it as an experiment at the moment. I might also put something as radiuses, just a couple of radiuses around these two focal points, just to reinforce it. Anyway, the point being is instead of just having pure randomness, I'm going to apply some simple compositional rules to the design, just a couple of little tricks that hopefully means that it feels more coherent rather than just this random stuff again. So I'm going to use the focal points, composition, a path going through it to draw the eye, and I think that should be quite good. It's the first properly rainy day while I've been walking into the studio. We've had for months now. It's rained during the day, that's fine. But walking in the rain, this is new for this half of the year. I quite like it. So, what have I got going on today? Today is Weeknotes, which means I've got to edit that video. And I think I'm just working on Monster, which I was working on yesterday, because I really want to try to get that done in the next couple of weeks. So I'll show you some of the results of that later today, and then we'll cut this video, and I'll wish you a very good weekend. What's the chances of me not popping on to say anything else today? I've been meaning to do this for ages as well. In here I've got a lovely Zancan piece. Obviously not in the bubbles. Let's open this up and see if we can hang it. Here we go, lovely. I'm not quite sure where it's going to go. For the moment, I think we'll pop it up here into the spare space. Here we go. That's not the right spot for it at all. It's too small. But where else will it go? Might go up there. And it could also go in there, I think. Anyway, too much art. That's a problem. Oh, actually, I can see... Oh, no, anyway, I'll do that later. So I'm in the studio now. Like I said, I'm going to work on Monster a little bit more. So let me just do that. But I thought I'd show you the Zancan picture because it's been in that bag for far too long and it's nice to get it up on the wall.